How's it going, everybody? Welcome into another In the Bag. Now, you might be thinking, haven't you done your In the Bag for this year? Well, I did one at the end of 2024 as kind of a 2025 preview, but I mentioned in that video, I asked if people would want to see any updates throughout the year because my bag switches a lot. People said yes, my bag has switched a lot, so I'm doing kind of a mid-year update, and this will be the last one for 2025, and it probably will change again, so by the time the next one comes around, there'll be more new discs, but I've got a lot of changes in this bag. For those of you who know the kind of videos I make, often I have to put discs on the line for that, so I lose discs a lot, because I don't actually lose them just by throwing them in the woods that often. Like that of course happens to me like any other disc golfer, but it's more often that I have to wager a disc for some reason or other, and that's how I lose it. So there has been quite a bit of switch up in here. So I'm gonna go through everything, let you know what I've been rocking with. A lot of these discs though are still staples that have been in here for a while. It's really, I feel like the distance drivers that have gone through the most change. But I'll start with my bag. Still carrying the Atlas Pioneer bag. For those of you who don't know, I am a co-owner of Atlas, so I always have to shout them out. But we really do have, I think, a really great product because this is a bag that offers a lot of premium features at a not so premium price. This thing comes in like a third of the price of your most premium bags. It's not built to compete with them, but it's built to meet the same kind of needs as far as storage, especially for your discs. I think I usually have 23 or 24 discs in my bag, which is just really good. And you still got generous side pockets on either side and good storage there as well. You can get these at atlasdgs.com. Link is in my description if you're interested. One thing I like to show off is I love loading these bags up and making them my own. Obviously we have the Velcro up top, so I've got my different patches up here. Got the grip lock patch, Team Finish Line, some other foundation ones, chip locked, and obviously the branded one. But I also, my pins are kind of my pride and joy. So I gotta go over my pins. I don't know if I've ever done this in the bag, because one thing about this bag that's cool is there's a support piece up top here that's very thick to keep the putter pocket in shape, and pins stick into them really, really well. So they stay, I don't even have to put it back on them. You just smack them in there. And this is like my top shelf here. If you gave me a pin and it ended up here, it's very prestigious to me. So the far side over here, we have Fox Run Meadows, the Fox from when I went up there. I have another Smugglers. I have like a Smugglers and a Brewster's one here, as well as a U-disc pin on the side. A lot of pins. I've got this Hogwarts Gryffindor one. Hogwarts Disc Golf, got that from Disc Golf Pins. Got Virginia is for Disc Golf from Disc Golf Pins, because I live in Virginia. And then Pennsylvania, PA Disc Golf Pin from Disc Golf Pins. Shout out to Disc Golf Pins, they rock. Because I'm from Pennsylvania. It's where I grew up playing disc golf, or I learned to play disc golf. Then I've got a Maple Hill pin from when I visited there, a USDGC pin from when I've been to there, and then also the most recent one is this Worlds pin from when Worlds is in Lynchburg. So those are my pins, they're my pride and joy. That's really all I have to show off with bag accessory, because you guys know I don't do a good job of keeping like retrievers and rangefinders and such in my bag. So there's hardly ever anything in the side pockets. Usually, like, if I'm lucky, I'll have a chalk bag. I think right now I have like one chalk bag. Yeah, I've got this U-disc whale sack that one of the U-disc guys gave to me at Disc South. So let's get into the discs. We'll start in the top putter compartment up here. Got 3 putters up here. Starting with my putting putter, we've got the Proxy. This is the putter that won my putter poll. For the last few years, I've done a putter poll where people vote on what putter I use. I do give them a bracket to choose from. So like, there are putters that I would be okay with trying out. The Proxy won this year. I had like mostly beadless putters because I've kind of like been vibing with the beadless putter, and also like the faster straighter putters, which is exactly what this is. It's a 3.5, -1.0. So it's a very straight putter because I don't put a lot of spin on the disc. So it's very hard for me to get a disc to not be overstable when I'm putting it. And so that's where the Proxy helps me out. I've had no issue with this disc. I like the plastic blend. When it comes to putters, for me, that's really the one thing that can get me, because I'm not a great putter, so it's hard for me to be picky, but the plastic does have to feel good in my hand. I do have to feel like I can at least feel confident releasing the disc, and this is the Electron, Cosmic Electron Firm, which is said to be like the firmest blend they have, and I like it. Yeah, it feels great in the hand. These things glide a ton. Most people throw Proxies. I think people looked at me a little weird when I wanted to putt with it, but it's like, guys, it's still a putter. Like, yeah, it's a little shallower, but I like that feel. And so yeah, it's been as good of a putter as it could be for me. I haven't been anything but happy with the Proxy, and yeah, I'll be sad to see it go next year, but it's been good to me. We like the Proxy. Moving on, a pretty new disc to the bag. This is a Pivot from Prodigy. So this is a new putter mold, and you can see the reason on the front as to why I'm bagging it. When these came in, you know, Prodigy has done their NHL collab for a couple years now, but this is one of the first ones that was like full color, and it just looked incredible. I'm a huge Washington Capitals fan. Very bummer time to be a Washington Capitals fan, but in any case, I had to bag this during their playoff run, as long as that lasted. And it started out pretty stable, but it's already beat into like dead straight, and I kind of want to continue working in to become my flippy putter. That's where I've kind of got it in here for. But as far as the feel of these things, it's like a smaller bead, more rounded PA3. Like that's probably the best Prodigy comp I could give it. I'm not like an expert on putter profiles, so I don't know what else I'd compare it to, but yeah, like it's a straight putter. I mean, it gets the job done. I bagged it because it is a Washington Capitals disc, but it also feels great in the hand. I can power grip it, fan grip it. So it's been good. And I aced with it as well a few videos back if you saw, so that was pretty cool. Lastly, up top I got my old trusty Brooksy, my slammer here. This is actually banned from my bag. As I'm filming this right now, I have like a couple more days where it's technically not allowed to be in my bag, but for the sake of this video, because it will be back in my bag in a couple days, I put it back in here because it is part of my bag forever and always. So yeah, this is my classic hard slammer. I've had this in the bag for, gosh, the first slammer I had in my bag, I want to say I probably lost in like 2021. And then, you know, I had this for the West Coast tour through into a river. A guy found it for me, and that was 2023. And I probably had it for a year at that point. It's probably been 3 years in my bag, and this disc is incredible. I love it for all my forehand approaches that just need to go straight because it's beat in. And actually what I've learned to love doing with this in the last like year or so is throw backhand shots. Like I'm throwing backhand drives like dead straight, and they'll have a little turn, but then that little bit of slammer fade at the end just kicks in and still gives me a little bit of a consistent fade, which has been awesome. This disc, like, I had never expected it to be like a go-to backhand disc, but I'm almost throwing more backhands with it than forehands now. It's become like my second favorite putter off the tee. We'll get to the other one in a second, but if you've never thrown these are the OG slammers. These are not the Saki Bomb slammers. They're not as stable. They beat in a lot quicker to become a very glidey, straight, but still somewhat torque resistant approach disc. So they're fantastic. Yeah, if we move into the main compartment here, I'll kind of start with the last two putter / approach type discs I have. Firstly, we got the, this is a first run Zone OS, the one that says beef on it instead of the flight numbers, pretty cool. Since the Zone OS came out, I immediately put it in my bag out of the curiosity, because like I love absurdly stable plastic, especially with an approach disc. And it started out there, and then it just kind of stuck because I realized I couldn't live without it, because there are shots you can throw with this disc that you can't throw with anything else, where you can just knife over on it so hard on forehands and it'll flex out. And actually I've learned to just use it for like most of my forehand approaches, because yeah, like it's not going to go as far as like a normal zone or a straight, but like if you're just chipping up from like 150 feet, it's not gonna just dig on you like crazy. Like you can still get good flights, and I can still feel like I can always like miss a little left with it and it'll fight back. And that's a very confidence inspiring thing. I don't like having to try to throw forehand approaches flat or even with a little hyzer, because that's where I get nose up. So it's good to be able to chop them a little bit, like bad forehand thrower problems. But yeah, I've loved the Zone OS. Like this disc is going nowhere. And then obviously I've got my my signature cache here. Shout out if you were able to get the like little restock drop of these that went out last Friday on Foundation discs. If you didn't, they'll probably be back at some point this year, but these are Color Glow caches. It's just been incredible since I've started throwing this. Shout out to Hooligan Disc. They were awesome working with me with this mold. These are the Overstable driving putter that I always needed, because throwing putters off the tee is probably the thing I'm best at in disc golf. It's probably the one thing that I can do pretty well. I can get a ton of distance out of these, and they're super reliable. I really liked P2s, P3Xs, PX3s. There's a lot of other Overstable putters I liked, but a lot of them would beat in too quick. These keep their stability a little longer. They go super far, and yeah, if you put these on hyzer, like, they're not going, like, even after working them in for a while, they hold their lines, and like they can be beefy, but then also if you give them enough anhyzer, you can get flex lines. Like, it genuinely is my favorite throwing putter ever. Like, I don't even say that because like I didn't want to just slap my brand onto this like just for kicks. It was because I was so in love with this disc, and I still continue to think it's the best one out there. So yeah, shout out to the Cash. Love that disc. Okay, mid ranges. Mid range lineup has actually changed a bit. I only have 4 right now. Yeah, this is kind of where we've settled into at the mids, because I don't throw mids a ton. It just depends on the course though. Starting with the most understable, still got a Supra. This is a team stamped glow Supra. Those of you who know me, this has just been my flippy mid-range for a while. Why? Because it's honestly because it's good and it's replaceable. Like, whenever I have like particular understable plastic that like flies a certain way, you want something that if you lose it, you can replace it. The whole origin story of the Supra is I had tested these out when Finish Line launched, and I liked the disc. So I knew about it and I had a few, but whenever I was on the West Coast tour, I had in my flippy disc at the time was this really old rock, and I threw it off a tree and it exploded. And I was like, that's a real bummer. Like, I really need a disc that flies like that, but I will do that every time, even if I have to replace it. And that's the Super. These things are very consistent. You get a new one, it flips for you. It's not my best shot shape in my bag, but I've gotten better at it with this disc. I think it's very comfy. They go far. You throw it on hyzer, it pops right up. It'll usually turn over as well. And yeah, still loving the Supra. Next up, this is a new one. If you watch the Foundation channel, I feel like there's like a backstory to every disc. If you watch Foundation channel, you know that I recently won back my rights to throw the Shark. That's a long running inside joke over there. But so I've got this Return of the Shark. Now, if you're interested in this stamp, because this is a DX Shark, they might be on foundationdisc.com right now. I know as of this video's release, they probably were dropped to the site. If they haven't yet, keep an eye out. We release them to our text deals people first, but you might be able to go get one of these. I'm not sure. It depends if they sold out. Because this is, yeah, we did a fun Return of the Shark. It's a shark crawling out of a grave because of the whole bit that was going on. But yeah, it's a DX Shark. Still love the Shark. It's a great disc, and I'm beating this one in to become a little bit flippier at the moment. So yeah, it's pretty new to the bag. It just flies straight right now, DX Shark. And then you have my main mid-range. The mid-range I try to throw on every mid-range shot if possible, and that is my AB Rock 3. I mean, they just don't make discs like this anymore. This Rock 3 is so good. I've had it for so long, and it is so straight still. Like, it's still not flippy. I don't know how anybody beats in a Rock 3 without like being temperamental with it to like get it to flip. Like this thing, if I put it on baby hyzer, it'll pop up the flat, but like I can still get a 300-foot shot out of this, just releasing it flat. It's maybe gonna budge a little right, but it's just gonna kind of go straight, and it feels so good in the hand. This is like one of my confidence gap hitter type discs that like I just have to have at all times, and it's been so good to me. I'd be devastated if I lost this. Lastly, I've got a new mid-range in the bag. Kind of new, kind of not, because this is the Millennium Solstice. This is a glow Solstice, but it's actually, a little secret, the old MD4 mold. Innova used to make Discmania's discs. Once they moved on, they kind of dispersed those molds, and they gave some to Millennium because they're a partner company of them. And this is an MD4. This is literally what it is. I used to throw the MD4 back in college. It's a nice overstable mid-range, good for backhands that you got to pump hard out there, get a fade, or maybe flex a little bit. And yeah, it's a great disc. I've still kind of been toying around with it, but it's familiar because I used to bag one back in the day when it was an MD4. This replaced the Wasp that I recently lost like 2 or 3 videos ago, so that's why this is here. But it's done the trick for me. Honestly, I was thinking about bagging a Quake again, but I couldn't find one that I liked, and so this is a similar feel because it's pretty much beadless. I think there might be like a micro bead on it, but it feels very similar in the hand, has a similar flight. So that's the mid-range lineup for right now. All right, on to the fairways. Fairways are a good time right now. We've got a lot of fairways. I've become more of a fairway thrower these days. Because yeah, we got a whole stack of fairways here. We'll start with the most understable. I'm really excited about this disc. This is a Westside Discs Underworld. This is just a random, like, kind of fill the slot disc. I like always having something super flippy in the fairway slot for rollers, for like hyzer flip trick shots to get out of trouble. And this is just kind of one that I saw that looked cool and like was like, well, this will fill the slot. And I've actually found that it has been one of my favorites I've ever used in this kind of slot because it has just a touch more stability where I feel like I can get a full flight out of it. But yeah, I've been throwing this for like inside out hyzer flips that have to flip like way late and a ton. It can be used for rollers, flip up forehands, but the Westside Disc Underworld has been an absolute blast. And this is one way. This one's 173. Yeah, this thing has been a ton of fun. Obviously, it looks sick in like this Orbit plastic they did. So yeah, I've been very impressed with that. Next, I've got my 1-2 punch and my stalkers. This is still my go-to disc. I try to throw these off as many tees as possible because along with that AB rock that I mentioned, like this is my other like, these are my confidence molds where it's like, okay, I gotta hit a gap. So I've got the pink one that I've had forever. This is literally my wife's signature back when her last name was different because she was just my fiance at the time, I think. So I've had this Z Stalker for a very long time now, and they just take a while to beat in. Like Z Plastic takes a minute to beat in, and Stalkers start out with a little stability. So like this thing now though, it does hyzer flip up the flat. Finally, and that's what it's used for. It's used for popping it up, or if I'm throwing like a higher turnover that I need to really make sure it turns over, because I can get the other stalker to turn over, but this one, like I know it will. I just got to make sure I don't dump it over too much. That's what that's for. And then yeah, the blue one is a straighter one. Baby hyzer, it'll pop up the flat, but it's usually thrown for flat shots that will have just a bit of turn, just kind of work their way over to the right, and then maybe fall back a little at the left. So it's kind of like the forced turnover. But it's been beaten for a little bit. This one has like the Stop Mob Minis overstamp thing, which is really cool. I love this disc. And honestly, it's gotten seasoned in now to where I was thinking of just throwing in a third stalker because I was like, I really like the stalker in its new form, but I was like, you know what, that might be overkill. Let's try another disc. And so I went back to the T-Bird. This is a Star Swirl Vino Makala T-Bird. So this is what I've kind of used to now be that next step up in stability instead of just putting in another stalker. Because right now, if I throw this hard and flat, it just goes dead straight and then a little fade at the end. If I give it a little turn, it'll kind of just do a baby flex. It still has some stability, but like these Star Swirl T-Birds are not like the beefy ones you can sometimes throw in like the Champ plastic. So very usable, very workable. I'm still learning this disc, but I had a KJ Nibo Swirl T-Bird in my bag like a couple years ago for quite some time. So I am familiar with this mold, and yeah, it's been fun getting to learn it again. Everybody loves a T-Bird, right? They're always great. I guess this one is not the next step up in stability. It just kind of fits in more with the stalkers, but goes further. And this is my Passion disc. Absolutely rocks. It was the disc that I couldn't ignore any longer. I had to put it in my bag eventually. This is a first run, and this one I'm throwing for long tunnel shots that are hyzer flips up the flat, usually. Maybe sometimes trying to get it to do like the baby hyzer to turnover, but I'm not so good at that. So it's usually I'm trying to pump this on hyzer, have it pop up, stand up, and just go straight. Because that's in my opinion what the Passion is best used for. So yeah, this is when it's like I'm staring down a long corridor or a long fairway that I have to hit, and I'm like, distance driver here is not going to land me in the fairway. Like I'm not good enough at throwing it. Like I need something a little more accurate, but still that goes far, and that's when I reach for this disc. So it does get thrown a decent bit at certain courses. Yeah, and then, but kind of following the stability track that we were on, step up from the T-Bird is the Hunterbird, Thunderbird here. These are pretty straight once you season them in, but they still, like, they're just gonna go dead straight and then they're gonna dump out at the end. Really good for forehands as well, very comfortable. These Halo Thunderbirds have just been great. Definitely still have some Innova staples in my bag, that is for sure. Moving up, this is a new one that I've been excited about. This is the Streamline Disc Prototype Boost. These are like PDs kind of, like the old PDs from Discmania, where they're a little quicker than like the Thunderbird and they're a little more overstable. Really good for flexing forehands, throwing hard backhands. Like I can rip into this and it'll go flat for a while and then dump out. I can get flexes out of it. It's very, very trustworthy. I think it's a great mold. I heard that they actually were making the stock run of these more like straighter, maybe like they thought these were too overstable for what they were trying to make. But if that's the case, then man, this run might be sought after, because I think it's a fantastic run. I think it's good to have that overstability. And then lastly, got the cap wrap. This is another disc that can be interchangeable. Like the super overstable. You guys know I've bagged like the Phoenix before. I've thrown Firebirds, all that stuff. But when these cap wraps came in, in this Z swirl again, and I saw how awesome they looked. I'm like, well, we're just gonna go with the cap wrap, and I have been loving it. I genuinely love the feeling of the Captain's Raptor. I always thought the Raptors themselves, the normal ones, were too shallow for me. I like having something a little deeper with my forehand throws. These are that, and they're nice and stable, nice and flat. So yeah, I've been loving this. It's been getting the job done. Lastly, distance drivers. This is where probably the most of my change has been done. I'll just move that to the side. There's probably a lot of new discs in here since the last time I did my in the bag. Starting with the two most understable. I'll just get this one out of the way because you've seen this a bunch. This is the Orange Raider. It's still in my bag. It's still my favorite distance driver. Like, this thing will never go away. I've lost it so many times. I keep gaining it back. And the funny thing is, let me just put these discs back in here. The funny thing is, this disc is like been my primary backhand disc for the longest time, and now it's actually turning into like one of my favorite forehand discs as well. So yeah, it's really getting thrown a lot. You know, it's so insane that like this is a hybrid plastic Raider. I've literally had this since like 2021, like beginning of 2021. So a long time, and it has flown the exact same way for a very long time. It's a hyzer flip bomber. It's great for pushing forehands down a lot of distance. It's fantastic. And then kind of to complement that, this is a new one in my bag. This is the Millennium Falcon. It's a fun name for you Star Wars fans out there. I got this specifically for a forehand disc. I was looking for a new flippy forehand disc. What I have found with this is I do like this disc a lot. I do want it to get a little more understable though, because right now it's very similar to the Raider in stability. But for the forehand, I'd like it to be able to pop up a little bit easier. And this is a Halo one that's pretty new, so I think it just needs beat in a little. Because I think I'm gonna throw this more once I can get it to pop up easier and on my forehand shots. That's more what I'm looking for, but I'm still toying around with it. It's just hard. It's so hard not to reach for the Raider right now for like all of my shots. It's so good. But yeah, Millennium Falcon's a good time though. Still toying around with it, and I love saying it. Next kind of spot and stability. Got two discs here. This is my test flight drive from Discraft. This is great. I always call this the longer passion because it's exactly what it is. It takes a little bit more speed, but if you get it up to that speed, it's gonna fly the same, where it's gonna pop up the flat, go really straight, and just go further. It's like an 11 speed instead of the 8-speed passion. And so yeah, that's exactly what it's used for. It's my it's like in this faster range of discs, it's my most controllable disc. And I also like throwing it for turnover shots, flat to turnover shots. It's great for that. Love the drive. Similar flight, but faster. We got the Hurricane. The Hurricane is, you know, it's said to have the same flight numbers as a Destroyer, but they're never that overstable, and I think a lot of times because they come out sort of flat. This is like the Spark plastic one. It's one of their newer blends. They've kind of redesigned this blend, I guess. And this thing just bombs. This is used for a lot of times hyzer flip to turn to fade, like huge shots, basically max distance type shots. That's what I'm usually using this for. Sometimes forehands as well if I needed to flex a little, but yeah, typically looking for a lot of distance off the tee. That's what I'm using. And then more overstable. I'm very excited about this one. I think Andrew Lombardi, I don't know if he watches this channel, but I think he gave this to me, but this is a 4-time Paul Macbeth Destroyer, a money run. It's got a pop top dome. It's like such a good disc, and I found that it flies really well. It has some stability to it, but if I rip hard and flat on it, it'll turn a bit first before it fades out. But if I pump it on hyzer, it'll kind of push and hold. So it's a money destroyer. Like this thing, once I learned it a bit more, is gonna get thrown a ton because, gosh, man, good destroyers are harder and harder to find these days, I feel like. And once you get one, like there really is nothing that beats it. It's such a good mold. And then lastly, with the overstable stuff, I've got this ESP Force that Connor at some point wrote corn on. Not really sure why he was doodling on all my discs for a video punishment, so he just ran out of ideas. But yeah, nice and overstable, love the Force. Really loving this thing for flex forehands. It's awesome for that, but it really does everything I need, and it flies like a Force, you know. I just had a different Force and I lost it recently, so this one was in there to replace it because I've had it, and it looks nice. And then also I've been throwing this for a little bit now. I don't know if it was in my last in the bag though, probably not. This is the, it might have been. This is the Gravity Bomb PD2. Love the PD2, such a good mold, and these Gravity Bombs have nice reliability. can rip on these hard into wind, know that I can trust it to fight back. Shout out Gavin Babcock, this is his signature disc. And yeah, so love using the PD2 kind of as the anchor of my Overstable distance drivers. So there we go, there is everything in my bag. That is what I've been rocking with. I'm sure it'll change a little bit more, but I'm pretty locked in on a lot of these molds. Let me know in the comments down below what discs you'd like to try from my bag, what disc maybe surprised you, and also what discs you think I need in my bag. Where do you think the gaps are in my bag? I always love seeing people analyze that. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you next week with some more playing disc golf content. Got a great video coming out next week, so you don't want to miss that. Thanks for watching.